What's up, YouTube? It's time. Finally time to weather the rest of the body. I've done a few things since off camera. Since the last video I did was the weathering the chrome parts. I just did the grill and the bumpers. And show you some of that real quick. The grill and bumpers came out really well. I did not do the side marker lights, the blinker lights, the mirrors, the handles, things like that. Tail lights. Tail lights came out really nice. They're a pain in the butt to get on, but they look really good. So I put all that stuff on the body so we can just do it all together. I've been kind of nervous about it. I know I do that every time I weather something. So just gonna dive in. I'm gonna get everything set up and we'll get started. Alright guys, got my pigment binder and my black and my rust pigment. I'm going to start in the inside bed floor. I got some alcohol too. It always helps when you're weathering to not worry so much and just go with it. For doing this, I like to use those little cheap testers, paintbrushes. You get it anywhere that sells testers, model cars and stuff. I've got some of these which are really nice, but they shed really bad. I had a problem with that on my when I brush painted the firewall. It just came apart and there was stuff everywhere. So I'll start just smearing some powder in here, getting it in cracks. And I've done this different ways. You can do the pigment binder first. I don't really know if it makes much of a difference. You can do the pigment binder over everything and then smear the powders, or you can get the powders in it and then put the pigment binder, whatever you want to do. I always say there's no wrong way to go about this. Just going to smear all this crap around and get it out here on the tailgate. And we can always add more. Now we're going to get it wet. And it's when it's going to turn ugly. I'm running really low on pigment binder. Trying to get into as much of this pigment as I can. Get in all these grooves around the tire wells. Now, being on the inside, this isn't going to be as rusty unless they had the top off forever. So it's really personal preference how much you want to weather this stuff. Just kind of right now, because it is on the inside, I'm going to use it as a test to see how this paint handles, this color handles everything. So yeah, this will be our guinea pig. Got a bunch of pigment binder sitting over there in the corner. Trying to make sure I get all the powder blended in, wet. Oh, I do need to get my little fan going. Having a fan on it really helps it dry. Otherwise, this is all water based, so it's gonna just air dry is gonna take some time. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the fan hooked up and start wiping this thing. Alright guys, I got it wiped. Still really wet. I'm gonna let it dry for a little bit longer. I'm gonna move it around here off camera so the fan can hit it directly. Looks pretty good. Really brings out the detail. I think I am going to come back with the rust and do some on the top so it looks like, you know, you're hauling junk around in the back of your truck. It scratched up and rusted a little bit. That's what I did on the Cruiser. It had a similar type bed floor in it. But it really brings out details in the, like the tire wells have those little body lines around them. I need to hit the side a little more here. It does just a little cleaner. But yeah, we'll let this dry and then we'll come back with the rust. Alright, added a layer of rust, let it dry for a little bit. It came out a little darker because I didn't clean the brush completely, so it still had some black in it. that's worked for me before, so I'm just going to roll with it. I'm not too worried about precision with this. It's always just throw it around and see what happens. So far, what am I, 3 for 3. Done it 3 times. Everything's come out pretty good. I've been happy with, so just going to roll with it. I think, depending on how this comes out, I may be done with the inside of the bed. Just have to wait and see. Might need another coat. May go ahead and do the dull coat in here on top of it just to see, but we'll have to let it completely dry first. I'm not going to do anything under the hood yet in this video because I am planning on trying to make some inner fenders. So we're going to wait and do a hood under the hood special, and we'll focus on all that then. I've got some more scale accessories coming for under the hood. I've got my V8 accessory belts and water pump and stuff for the front of the motor, and I've got a radiator that may work. If not, I'm trying to make one. And I've ordered a brake booster, brake master cylinder for the firewall, and I want to get in there and try to make something for your coolant overflow line or your overflow tank, and make a radiator hose and run some wires maybe. I'm going to try to really go next level with this, because typically my rigs, I build an interior and I've done weathering, and that's about as far as I've gotten. So now I've got an opportunity to get a little deeper into the hobby and go under the hood with this truck. Like, I can't hide that V8, so we got to really step that up a lot. But anyway, let this dry. We'll come back. Alright guys, inside's dry enough. I'm not going to do any more to it. Gonna go ahead and start on the back, and we'll work our way around. So where's my brush? Still got a lot of brown on the brush. Trying to clean some of that off. This time I'm gonna do it the opposite way, because that seemed a little extra messy doing the powders first. So we're gonna try just the old-fashioned way. Get it in everything. I ain't gonna lie, that's scary as shit. A beautiful satin finish, just covered in muck. Go around the emblems, the body lines. I'm gonna try to wipe this one here pretty quick, because I don't know how that white's gonna take to it, and I don't want to ruin the two-tone white part with too much black. It stains through it. So I'm gonna hit that pretty quick. Need the fan over here. Too much mess up here. There's so many parts to this kit. My garage has been a mess. Just hitting it lightly at first. I don't want to take it all off, but I want to see kind of how it's gonna work. This towel, I need another shirt to use. This one's just about too dirty. Should clean off our emblem there. Key is to always switch to a clean piece of the shirt. Otherwise, you're just going to be relocating it back and forth, and it's going to mess up stuff. It's not going to look right. So that took to it pretty well, so if I'd let it set much longer, it might have not come clean. So I need to get it a little bit cleaner. That looks pretty good. It's always good too to wipe in one direction, not the band, just one direction. Go around, like in the bed, of course I went front to back. And now on the body I'm just going to go horizontal. That helps too. If you start wiping down like I had to over here, you start getting lines and stuff in it, so you need to come back and correct it the best you can. I think that looks pretty good. Didn't take away too much of the paint. So let's see. Just added a little bit of depth in like that ridge and around the handle. Around our emblems looks a little crappy. I can't really get in there. I'm afraid to rub on it too hard because it's gonna come off because it is just glued on. It's not really attached that great. So let it ride. Let this dry, and then we'll start working our way down the sides. Alright guys, so now I see how the white is going to handle the weathering. I'm going to go ahead and hit the topper with a little bit of mess. I'm not going to do this one super heavy. It's going to hit the top kind of evenly and around the windows a little bit. You know how that goes. It's got more up there than I wanted. And these tops on these trucks are fiberglass, so they're not going to rust. It's just going to be dirty. Not too dirty though. I'm not worried about getting all the way down to the edges. I'll do that when I'm smearing it around with the towel or the shirt. I went and got another clean shirt. I'm going to act a little quicker since I do have the fan right on this. I don't want it to get too heavily done in spots. I do want to get around the windows really good. Stuff is messy. Get a little bit up here just for continuity. And I'm not going to do the inside of the hard top. I'm not that worried about it. I don't know for sure if I'm going to leave the hard top on a lot or have it off a lot. We'll have to see what the final product looks like once we get it all put together. It's too hard to show you wiping this on camera, so I'm just going to wipe it and then we'll come back. Alright, hope that's coming out on camera. It's pretty subtle. You can see some streaks, some lines, a little spot here or there, kind of dark. It just looks like the paint's faded off of it. I got missed a little spot here. I'm happy with that. There's some around the windows. It's kind of hard to see because the window edges are black, but in person you can really tell. I'm happy with it. So, I guess I'm going to move on to the body now. Kind of nervous still. So we're just going to have to dive in. Alright guys, went a little crazy. Running out of pigment binder. Great. So I'm trying to show you the wiping on camera. It's kind of difficult, but I'll try without blocking the view. I went really heavy around the windows because there's a lot of detail there that needs to pop. And I'm just going over everything, non-discriminate. I'm going over chrome, emblems, the lights, doesn't matter. I'm just covering it. Trying to get it in the door cracks. And the idea of this is everywhere you can't wipe it out of is where dirt and grime would be, so that's what we're shooting for. Glad I went ahead and got that other shirt because we need it here pretty quick. Starting in the same order that I did it. Starting back here on this corner and working my way forward. And you can wipe this to any degree that you want. You can almost wipe it back clean. You can leave a little more on. You can, whatever you want to do. Try to get in there a little better. Again, going front to back, trying to keep a flow to it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it off camera. Alright guys, so I went to use my dull coat from my Rust-All kit to replace, since I'm out of my Vallejo pigment binder, and it started drying a lot quicker. So I'm sorry I couldn't show you more of that, but I've got the whole body done with the black wash. And again, I don't know if it's coming out very good in the shot here, but see, there's a little bit along the hood lines, and I got down underneath the grill. That was a little hard to get to. The sides are looking pretty good. They come on, focus. Got down in the door jambs, door cracks, around the light. Now you can see this was my tape line with my vinyl taping, and it's showing dirty. So honestly, it looks like where the stainless trim should be between the two tones. It looks like that dirty faded spot underneath, and that came out really clearly all the way around and on both sides. You can see the tape line. I guess the fuzz from the shirt stuck to it. It was still a little tacky. So that, I think, looks pretty good. It looks like all the trim's falling off. Missing. Gotta let this set for a little bit. I'll show you the driver's side. Did have one little spot get away from me while I was doing the top. It ran down and it dried before I could wipe it. But yeah, it's all just an experiment every time, so you never know what's going to happen. Might have a good side effect, might have a bad one. So like I said, I'm gonna let this dry. I'm not gonna do crazy on the rust. Like my Hilux body I just added some surface rust on the hood and the roof, you know, just from the paint fading out over the years. I think that's all I'm going to do. I'm not getting too much crazier with this. This one's been a lot more difficult than my D110 and even my Cruiser. It's got a lot more intricacy, a lot more little spots and places and nooks and crannies. So, and plus I'm not that experienced with a lighter color. My Hilux was the first time I've tried that, and everything else has been pretty dark, so I'm going to tread lightly with what I do next. Alright guys, I'm calling it. I've got enough on there to make it look old but not rotting. It looks like it's the original paint, but it's still being driven. I got my side windows, my little quarter windows glued in. I did cut the main part off. They fit really well. I've noticed that about a lot of stuff with this. Like the blinker lights, they kind of snap in. Everything fits nice and snug. So just add a little glue. It snapped into place. It stayed, but I'm going to clamp it anyway till the glue dries. Then I'm going to put the windshield in, throw the interior in. We'll put it on the chassis and see what it looks like. Before I throw the interior in, I wanted to show you one little update. I got this from Exclusive RC. I bought one of their CB radios before. It's one that was mocked up in the Amigo, and I ordered a couple more from them. They've updated it a little bit, and they look a little bit more, even more scale. And I did drill a hole in the floor and screw it in from the bottom and glue it, and mounted my mic on the side of the dash. Just something else a little extra, and it's hard to get it to show, but I did add a little bit of dirt to my floor mats. You can see some of it down there. Just something, try to add a little bit more depth to it. But my side windows ought to be about dry. Get the windshield in. Alright guys, there it is for now. I didn't hit the mirrors with anything. Just going to let it sit overnight. Make sure everything's completely dry before we try to do anything else to it. Not sure how well it's all coming out on camera. The light colors always seem to have a hard time showing. I'm pretty happy with it. I was hoping not to make it as extremely weathered as some of my other stuff, and I think I got lucky and that happened. I'm really disappointed with the interior on this kit. Now that it's in, the dash sits really low. It doesn't quite line up, and there's, like I said, there's no door panels, and the dash doesn't even come all the way to the windows. It's still, there's gaps for a door panel, but the dash needs to be up about another 5 millimeters higher, and then you've got that gap behind the seats, and I don't know, just a little iffy about it. But I'll kind of give you a walk around here. You can see the front corner. I get that glare off of you. I don't think it's going to happen. This thing is heavy, very heavy. I'm going to have to do some more lift on the rear, and I've been tinkering with the suspension a little bit. I took I think I took the smallest leaf off because it was still the ready to run kit, and I've moved the shocks on the rear to the outermost location. I've added the Superlift lift blocks and bruiser shackles, and it's still barely setting, just a little lower in the back. So I'm still not sure how I feel on that. Let's see if I can get you in there. Kind of see the gap there between the top of the dash and the wiper cowl. I would have painted that black had I known you could see the entire thing from inside. So I don't know about the interior. A little disappointed, but the rest of the truck looks pretty good. This actually is about the condition of the one that we had borrowed when I was a kid, and we had for a while. And it wasn't yellow, but it was like a tan, but it was about in this shape, I think. I don't know. You know, when you're little, your memories are different. So this is how I remembered it. It's kind of a dirty truck before they got all cushy and fancy in the 90s, like SUVs. Let's see. Bring it around the back. Windows got stuff all over them. I don't know. I guess it's just smudges and fingerprints and stuff. And the rear bumper is a little crooked because I tried to mount it with the wrong screws, and I stripped out the holes, and then I found the right screws, and yeah, that's where I'm at on that. Not a big deal. I think it looks pretty good crooked. I've added a bumper sticker, and I have ordered some license plates for it. I'll show you those once they get here, and we'll talk about those. Got my Browning sticker in the window. You can open up the hatch and flip down the gate. It's not perfect to scale, but it's a lot better than we've been doing. You can see the hinges and everything's exposed there, but still pretty cool, and it's a pretty snug fit, so it doesn't, I don't know, unless you get really rough on it, it might pop open on you. The only thing that's not true to scale, on the real ones, the window rolls down into the tailgate. So when you just take the top off, you roll the window down and it hides it, and the top comes off. But that's not a big deal. It's just one of those little things that's hard to mimic in tent scale. See, we got good detail around the gas door, around passenger door, around the rain gutters. Got a little bit of muck underneath the camper window. Got some detail on around the emblems and kind of dirtied those up. See a little bit on the hood there. Yeah, let me take the top off. I don't have the top screwed down yet, so it's easy to just pop it right out. Then we can get into the interior a little better. So you can see the bed floor came out pretty good. I promise, guys, I will trim these body posts once I get the ride height and everything set. We'll start doing things more permanently with that. Let's see if I can get you some light on the interior. Seats came out great. The finish and everything looks good. I'm just not happy about how low that dash is. May have to move that up. It looks like at least 5 millimeter would do it. I don't know why it's so low. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense unless I put something together wrong. But I've been following along the instructions pretty closely. And yeah, it sits level, so it's not like I used the wrong mount holes in the front. There's only 2 holes on each side in the front. One's for the dash and one's for the mount to the firewall. And you kind of can't really get them wrong. They only go one place. So we might have to swap those around a little bit and see what I can do, because that looks terrible. I need that dash to set up where it needs to be. That's would get the steering wheel away from the seat, because it's awful close, like low wise. Somebody tall would have a hard time getting their legs under it. But that's where we're at, guys. I do a little slideshow here at the end, some still shots. Hopefully it'll be able to show some of the detail a little bit more for you. Anyway, still got a long way to go. I got this finished now. We can start more on the chassis and under the hood, try to get some more detail out of it. But anyways, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the little slideshow, and please like, subscribe, and share.